Hey guys, welcome to the Great Break podcast. I'm Rena Wells, your host, and today I'm excited to introduce Linda Jacobsen. She is an astrologist and an amazing entrepreneur. She has grown her business into empowering women, the rise of feminine purpose, the rise of business amongst women. She's a very powerful, sacred feminine alchemist who not only raises a family on her own, but she's running a successful business. Super excited to have her on the show today because she is bringing soul-driven businesses and helping other women surpass their internal limitations. And so we're going to get on it with her. That is Linda. Welcome, Linda, to the show. Tell us more. Let's jump right in.
Yes, let's dive in. Hi, I'm Linda Jacobsen from Venus Rising. That's my business and my brand. And I'm super excited to be here with you. Oh my goodness, there's so much I can say, but this is me. Yes, I started my soul business endeavor as an astrologer. I also read tarot actually, but pretty quickly moved more and more into empowerment coaching for women. And then soul purpose coaching, like finding that calling, because I noticed that we all have it. Like we all have that desire in our heart, that calling from God within. And it's so prominent in this lifetime, it doesn't go away. And then as I grew my own business, I also noticed as heart-centered, sensitive souls, like energetically sensitive souls, old business models doesn't work for us. And we also tend to have more self-doubt, more like certain insecurities and fears that I saw was on repeat for me and with the people I was working with. So I started from there diving more and more into business coaching because our success is needed in this world, right? Our gifts are needed now. And when we start the journey of soulpreneurship, we can call it, it's like a spiritual growth journey on steroids. Like all of our stuff is coming up, right? All of these inner limitations. So I love it because that's really my passion. I also love to see women making money with their gifts, to be honest. It totally turns me on.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Linda, let's get into it then, because when I first met you, I came to you for an astrology reading and you were amazing at what you were doing. And we lost touch and we haven't talked and life happens and all of that. So I want to know more too. And for our listeners, tell me more about how did you go, like what changes happened for you to move out of the astrology aspect and more into empowering women? What happened in your own, it happens within us first, right? Was there a break? Was there a spiritual awakening? What happened to make that switch?
It wasn't really a spiritual awakening because I've been having mini awakenings ever since my teenage years. So it wasn't necessarily like an epiphany of like, oh my God, I'm actually a soul in a human body type of thing.
Right.
But once I started, it was after my second child, my son Indigo, River Indigo, was born. In that birth process, like I broke through a pattern within me that said, I don't know if I can do this. And his birth was quite intense and messy, but I did it, right? Like he's born at home. Also, thanks to my amazing midwives, right? We birth, nobody can do it for us, but we're not supposed to do this alone. Anyways, soon after that, my business started because I broke through this internal pattern of like, I don't know if I can do this. Am I enough? And I was more in this state of like, F it, now's the time. So I started with my passion. I've been into astrology since I was a teenager. I had to draw up my first chart by hand. Like we didn't even have the apps,
Right.
But once I started, it's like a domino effect. And the dynamics in my life with my now ex-husband also became very clear that they were not working for me. It's like you choose yourself and your own purpose, your own calling, and the things that are not aligned with that, they're going to have to go, right? So I woke up in those years, like Indigo is now almost 6 years old. So I woke
Okay.
up to my own codependency, and I had an awakening more about that, how codependent I actually was, and how scary it was for me to start my own business, because I was an entrepreneur in the restaurant business with my
Right.
ex-husband. And that was easy for me because he played the role of
Right.
the main character in that. And it wasn't really
Right.
my purpose work either. So it was like
Right.
easier.
Right.
So it became clear to me how codependent I was and what needed to be weeded out. And in that process of that being cleared out, I mean, it's been a long journey, but I'm now divorced, right?
Yeah.
I saw where I needed to grow myself, and then I saw that reflected in the clients that came to me. That this wasn't just
Right.
me; it was like an awakening, we could call it, right, of sorts of the codependency that we are all usually, when we are energetically sensitive, we tend to be the empaths, right? So we have
Yes.
created these
Yes.
coping mechanisms of attuning to other
Yes.
people in order to feel safe. And then when you start your
Mhm.
own empowerment journey and your purpose, your calling, you step into it, like that's going to have to go. So that was
Yeah.
my journey. And of course, there's a lot that can be said about that. But then that's what led me to support others as well, because I saw the need for all of us.
Right.
Mhm.
And I love that you're bringing up that codependent piece, because myself included, we become so attached. I think that's just the way society and the
Oh,
conditioning of the matrix, right? That
totally.
yeah,
It's by design. We end up
right,
codependent. Yeah. Mhm.
right. And so tell me more then about, as you moved into helping women with their codependencies, do you notice with your clients a certain attachment style, or do you notice certain synchronicities in how they're trying to, build something, and like, are there similar blocks that you see with the people that you work with, or
Yes, I saw that like that the not enoughness wound, or the unworthiness, right? Because it's very tied into codependency as well. Because when we feel unworthy,
Mhm.
we want to please other people to make sure that we're
Definitely.
going to get what we need instead of going directly to source
Hmm.
and hooking up from within, right? So
Right.
once I started my business, I saw, like, for example, it was really hard for me to charge. I started charging $40 for my astrology readings.
Right.
Uh, and I mean, that's not what I charge today. And also, of course, I work
Right.
in a different manner today, but that was hard for me to charge $40 for a
Mm-hmm.
reading. It was like super edgy and challenging. And I also saw that with basically all the clients that I worked with, that it was
Yeah.
hard to receive. And it was
Yeah.
very, very tied into the unworthiness. What if I'm not
Hmm.
enough? What if it's
Hmm.
not enough? I'm not enough. My gifts are not enough. My service is not, like, the
Hmm.
whole freaking lack matrix is really what it is, right?
Totally.
Of not
Yes.
enoughness.
Yes.
That became very clear that it's just like so steeped in us. So that was one of the big pieces to tend to for myself and then for others, right? And
Hmm.
it was a natural development of coaching people, because it started with the chart readings. And as I go deep in my astrology readings, it became like a natural development of wanting to guide people through a journey of a couple of months to really work through things so that they could reclaim their power. And then,
Right.
as I said, many have this calling, right? It's not just like, okay, now I feel empowered and I'm going to continue with my job. It's like I also have a mission. I want to share my gifts. And then that's the
Right.
next step of like, oh, but am I enough? I don't feel ready. No one feels ready
Right.
ever. Like, and that's one of the things, like, don't freaking wait for ready. It's a decision. You never feel ready. You go first, life response. So I
Right. I
started to see,
agree.
like, the mindset shifts needed. And then, like, one of the big pieces is the unworthiness and the fear of receiving,
Hmm.
charging,
I've I've
money blocks.
definitely gone through that as well.
Hmm.
Definitely. And that is like a core wound, I believe, with feminine energies. We are
Yes,
naturally meant to receive, right? But then
exactly.
we're taught not to do that. And then we're living in this predominant distorted masculine matrix of like aggression and having to go after business a certain way, and having, that experience on my side. Like I would do that with business, well, I have to do it this way, where I found like the work that you're doing and more of that receptivity, that you start to open more to that feminine energy to attract what you desire. And so moving into this new business model that you're doing, tell us more about how the breakthroughs that you're experiencing. I want to hear the juicy stuff. Let's also what are the breakthroughs?
Like one of the most juicy stuff for me, being also a single mom, and the dad of my kids, he does have them part-time, so I don't have them all the time, but I am from Sweden living in Mexico. So as I'm building my business, excuse me, I live in the jungle, and I just got the new like Tesla Starlink internet, because internet connection in the jungle has been a thing. So it's been really good, but it's a little bit cloudy. So if it's chopping occasionally, it's like, sorry, but I live in my jungle castle. So
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Like, one thing for the other. But as I was growing my business, because you also asked me a little bit before you just checked in, and like, how did this come about? Because I do believe like spirit works in our lives, right?
Definitely.
So as I became more empowered and stopped with my codependent patterns, the counterpart reacted to that, which led to very messy events, as it is when you put down new boundaries, expect things to be messy, right?
Yes, definitely.
So I initiated a divorce based on events that were very, very challenging, right? I want to be mindful of my words here, so but they were very challenging and very scary to me, and because of that, I could not leave the country with my kids legally.
Right.
So I didn't actually get to see my family because of freaking COVID and whatever that made to the world happen, whatever restrictions, because of the divorce, because of the custody process. And since I am in Mexico, which I love, so happy to be here in Tulum, Mexico, but capitalism and bullshit stuff in the world, like if I take a job here, it actually doesn't pay for my expenses. Like that's sad, but that's the reality. I didn't actually have the option to take a job. I needed my business to work. And that has been hard, because I really had to plunge through a lot of, fears and money blocks and things like that. But I'm also grateful. And that's what I wanted to come to, how spirit sometimes, or I higher self, however we want to see it, really puts things in a black and white kind of situation. You feel very cornered, but it's you have to do this. So I had to look at ways, as I decided to continue with my divorce process, I had to look at ways to actually make my business work. That wasn't going to happen by $40 readings. So that's also when I developed a business model, even though it was oh my God, can I do this? Right? Of charging more and working with people over time. And I am a licensed counselor and a social worker originally, so I do have experience.
I didn't know that about you. Wow. Yeah. So this is all tying together for you. So, I love that.
So for anyone listening, your purpose is encoded within you. It's going to be based on your natural skills and talents. But all of the life events that might seem oh my God, why did I do that career? That was so unnecessary. They're all going to fuel you towards being prepped to do things in the way that you're meant to in your mission work. So that came very much in handy, obviously, when I started to work with people on a deeper level and over time. That's also how I financially became more empowered, instead of depending on only one-off sessions, right?
Right.
So that is also the thing that I help others with, to transition, for example, out of doing one-off sessions as a reader or a healer into creating a service that is going to land with their people as, of course I need this, of course I want this, and for them to feel safe in how to deliver it so that they can charge a price point that makes their business be financially like sustainable for them. Because the receiving piece, Rena, in all of this of growing my business, of course I rejected strategy for two reasons.
I hear that. Yeah.
For two reasons, right? The old paradigm strategies of like, this is how you do business and you're supposed to like market in a certain way. It feels really cringe to us because we're here to birth a new paradigm, a new earth. So we don't want to do it that way. And it's usually manipulative and we don't want to be manipulative. So when we're told we have to do it that way, we're like, we don't want to. And then we might go and we just want to do it our own way. Or we have a wound with the masculine, like most of us. So we don't trust the masculine within ourselves either. So when there is structure and strategy, we're like, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to do my way. And I'm just going to manifest, I'm just going to manifest like based on my amazing vibe, like on my being. And it's true. Energy precedes everything, right? Everything's created from the energetics first. But in that rejection of strategy, it became very hard for me also. Like I had like very unstable results in my business. And it felt like I had to pull clients out of the ethers all the time, which I did. It was very magical. And actually worked with a business coach who said, Linda, like no one pulls clients out of the ethers the way you do. And I'm like, yes, but I want some predictability. So that's also when I started to learn like what I didn't trust within my own masculine. And started to find these strategies that are actually soulful and service-based and that creates like a sustenance in your business so that it amplifies your feminine flow, your magic.
Right. So can I just jump in there for a minute? So like, I have found that as well. And for me, I found that it was when I connected to the masculine within myself was the discipline aspect of myself. Did you find those same results, that the focus, the aspect of the masculine within is like the focus and the discipline, but without being, I had control issues too, right? Without overly being controlling to the point that I was micromanaging the manifestation. Because that's tricky little piece there.
It's a tricky
right?
piece. So what I've come to see, it totally so tricky. So what I've come to see is that, yes, we need discipline. But the word that works better for me is devotion, because it's more feminine, but it's kind of the same thing. So I'm like, I lean into my devotion. So because I'm so devoted to the divine feminine rising, to see, more money in the hands of good-hearted people, for people to share their gifts, for do my part of, what I can for the birth of this new paradigm. I'm like, let's go. This is a lifetime to rise. Like we're here together. Let's, I can talk about this all day. So when I lean into my devotion for my mission, I find the discipline pretty easily through that frequency of devotion. When I'm like, you should do this, it's like, so devotion, because motivation as well, like motivation wavers. One day you're motivated,
it's not consistent.
You can't build a business on motivation alone, but you can build one on devotion.
Yes.
So I came to see that there are like 3 to 4 strategic pieces that we need to master. It has to do with offer creation, like learning how to ground your gifts into an offer and how to position that offer so the people who it's meant for sees that it's for them.
Right.
So learning how to do that, and you can do that for, any type of transformational work, but it's a skill that you learn. It's not like do it this way. You need to, niche down and just do one thing.
Right.
No, it's not that, but it's like how to actually create an offer. And when you're a bit more new to business, how to create a roadmap or a sequence within the offer so that you can feel really confident, because like confidence is more of a masculine trait in a sense. So when you have learned how to create a structure, like a roadmap that you're going to take people through in every offer that you put out there, you're going to feel so much more confident that you can co-create this transformation with people. And then you're going to feel it's going to be so much easier for you to receive. You're like, here is this thing. It's $3,000 or $500 or $800 or $10,000. It doesn't really matter. But you're going to feel so much more confident on putting out something like that at a more higher price point than just one single session when you have created that structure. So that's what I help people do today. So
Right.
it's like I've seen this interplay of masculine and feminine energetics in our business. So
Hmm.
learning how to create offers and how to position them, which then comes to the second piece of in this sequence, which is messaging, right? How to create content that motivates your people to take action towards
Right.
working with you. So this is not
Right.
like here's a template, but you need to say, and you're going to feel like, oh my god, like it. So how to actually create content? I call it the content codes that converts without watering down your soul, right? But
Yes.
that's something we need to master.
Yes.
Storytelling, showing people like
Hmm.
why they should actually work with us. And then the third piece strategically, it's like how to create visibility. Because when you start putting things out there and
Hmm.
5 people sees your things and you're like, what? Like, how to actually create more visibility around your services
Hmm.
and doing empowered sales so that you can have an empowering sales conversation. These are the pieces to master
Right.
and make it yours so that you can amplify your
Your
self-trust, your
business.
self-belief, right? Your magic.
I
That's
love
it.
this. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. And so when you're putting this towards the clients that come to you, what kind of clients, there's listeners out there listening right now and
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, well, I want to do this. What kind of services or clients do you attract? What is, what kind of business, what is the soul entrepreneur? Maybe there's people that are still, having this calling out there and they're like, okay, but I work as a bank teller right now and
Yeah.
I don't know if I can intuitively sell my paintings. Like, how do they
Yeah.
talk to me about that? Like, what kind of
So I work
clients do you
mainly with
motivate? Yeah.
work mainly with people who offer transformational services. So that's someone who is a
I see.
healer, like Reiki healer or any type of healing modality, and they want to
Right.
go bigger in the way.
Oh, did we lose connection here? Oh, we may have lost connection.
I'm back.
Oh, there we go. I'll have
Yeah,
to edit that piece out. Yeah.
it's 11:11. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, pardon me.
that's okay.
So either healers like Reiki healers who wants to go bigger in their service or any type of healing modality, or readers like astrologers, human design readers, tarot readers, right? That wants
Hmm.
to like offer more transformational service,
Hmm.
or the coaches, relationship coaches, empowerment coaches, spiritual life coaches, and other business coaches, like.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I am more equipped to help someone who does something like that than someone who wants to sell more
Right.
paintings through Etsy or something.
I see. Yeah.
Because of course, the energetic piece of how I work with people is applicable to life and business and anything, because it's going to up your magnetism and it's going to up your self-trust. But the strategic
Definitely.
pieces around offer creation and visibility and sales when it comes to transformational services are different than if you're selling a painting, right?
Right.
So
Right.
mainly I work with entrepreneurs who offer transformational services that helps
Okay.
people transform something, their empowerment,
Something.
their self-love, their relationships, their businesses, right?
I love
Mm-hmm.
that.
So
Yeah.
anywhere between starting and wanting to anchor in 5 to 10K monthly is usually where my people are on their
Okay.
journey.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
good, yeah,
Yeah.
place so people can understand and when you're moving from single services to more, what does that look like for more? Because I know some people are a little, well, okay, I do Reiki, but what's more for me? How
Yeah.
do you, because there's always more in that soul mission and that soul calling, right? So how
Uh-huh.
do you get them to see the
So
more?
usually, they know that there's a transformation that they have created for themselves. You have
I
created a
see.
shift. For example, maybe you did divorce
Right.
high conflict slash narcissistic slash some
Right.
other definition partner, and you got empowered in that journey. So now you want to
Hmm.
help others on an empowerment journey. So you're not just doing Reiki, you actually have more skills. And this is where I believe in the new paradigm, the embodiment of the transformation that you want to support others with is more important than your certifications.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's definitely true.
But usually we need some support there. And that's part of the work that I do usually, of believing that. and moving beyond
Right.
our self-doubt and the imposter syndrome and is this enough? Hence, when you
Mhm.
learn how to structure things and how to message to the people so that they actually respond, you're going to feel more confident, right? It's going to be
Yeah.
more doable for you. So yeah, that's usually it's usually a transformation that you already embody yourself. And when I
I
talk
see.
embodiment, it's not like no one is perfect, like we're all human.
No.
So like I am the queen of self-doubt, for example. That's why I'm so good at helping others. So one of the things, yeah, it's true. And I
It's
still
true.
dabble with doubt, but
Yeah.
so it's not like, oh, this is gone from my blueprint, from my existence, but I know how to move through it and I don't let it stop me at all.
Right.
So
Right.
that is for me embodiment rather than like, I never feel doubt anymore, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Because we have
Mhm.
that contrast for sure, right? We have the dark and the light, and we have those experiences in order to show us the way. I use that in very similar ways of when things aren't going so great. It's almost trying to direct you into another way of doing it. So
Mhm.
being a single mom, let's get into this a little bit. Being a single mom now, I don't know what that's like, right?
Rena, oh my goodness. So
I know,
intense.
intense. And
Mhm.
so this balance, because I know, and there's a lot of women out there that are in our shoes or raising kids on their own and doing all this stuff. And I know for myself, girl, I mean, just today, just getting on this call today, I had to go to the school and do stuff for my daughter. So I mean, it's like we're constantly doing this juggling. And I have found for
Mhm.
myself as well, business, clients, kids, home, cooking, cleaning, doing everything and the overwhelming, and then the time for ourselves as women, because that's the biggest piece of being able to receive.
Yeah.
Tell the viewers and the listeners how you are managing all of that, not just managing, but also I'm getting an intuitive message of like, how is that moving you more through your business of helping and transforming people into that type of
Mm.
balance, because you're pulling from so many different places.
Yeah. Oh, I got chills when you're talking. I'm like,
Mm,
ooh, this is a thing. So the
yeah.
first thing that I've learned by necessity of being a mom is that I broke through the old paradigm limitations around I need to be perfect. Like, so perfectionism had to go because I
Mm.
didn't have fucking time for that, to be honest.
Right. Yeah.
And then I saw what a blessing that is, because something that I say
Yes.
about my work is like, I help you grow a business that feels like home or that feels like an extension of your
Mm.
soul. So if you're going to feel like home in your business, you can't be like, this isn't, when it comes to authenticity, I just want a little note there. Like you get
Yeah.
to decide what to share online, for example. Like authenticity is not a strategy, but it is
Hmm.
connective tissue in all of our relationships. So
Definitely.
daring to be authentic, which is also like that self-love piece of having to decide that you're actually enough as you are. So you don't have to put on a face when you mosquitoes when you yeah when you show up in your business. So I've
Right.
had very little time to curate, beautiful like landing pages or sales pages or put on a face before I go live, which has turned out to be a blessing in disguise, right? So that's the first piece of how I navigate being a single mom. I am me, so I don't really put on a face before
Right.
I go online. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
this person in my life and now I'm going to put on my business persona.
Yes. I struggle with that at the beginning of my business, honestly. So I think that's really important that people
Yeah,
hear that. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So being a single mom made me like almost force me into not, because I didn't have time for that. So it's like, you
Exactly.
want to share your message today or you want to look good? Like choose,
Right.
you know. So so I've created a business where I'm me, I'm being very authentic and I'm being very I'm professional obviously, but I also had to redefine what I think professional is. And for me, it's being real and being there for my clients, holding certain boundaries, but it's not about like putting on a certain face or looking a certain way.
Right.
It's about being able to hold space in any given moment. It's about being able to be present, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that, and then it is a challenge to navigate, like having time for myself and such things, right? I'm not gonna lie that, oh, that's so easy. I just like, it's super easy. It is a challenge, and it's also pushed me towards looking at energetic designs. Like, I'm an astrologer, right? So I do know our energetic blueprint through astrology, but I've also started to lean in to human design, which is another system for learning our like auric types. So for example, I'm a generator. So my aura type, how I am wired, is that I need to prioritize what feels good, right? And this is true for all of us, but it's a little different based on the energetic design that we have. Right. And to move, for example, like this morning, I could easily have sat down and to write more content for the services that I have, like to be able to put out more like posts and so. But I chose to go and do a really fun exercise class because I know that moving my body puts me in a really good state and it amplifies my magnetism. So actually, like deciding and learning to choose me and what I need, rather than what seems to be the most logical thing to do, which would be like, I have an hour, I'm gonna write more things so that I get ahead. Like, no. So what then happens usually is that I write content later at any time when I feel inspired, that is really potent.
Yes. I do the same. I do the same. I do the same. Yeah. It's fascinating because I think that's also part of, and you're talking about human design is also, what was ringing true is like the sacred feminine alchemist that is within us too, to intuitively feel those things out as well, right? To know, okay, like, yeah, I need to actually do this workout instead of actually creating this content. And so with that intuitive piece with your clients and being able to come into that sacred feminine alchemist mode. Yeah.
Exactly. Supporting them with that, because, and what I've seen there is that when we actually learn the strategy, we learn how to create offers, we learn how to create powerful content that activates people to take action towards working with you. Because if you are selling a service, you want people to buy. So we need to like pretend that that's not what we want. Like, nobody wants to be the just, sharing content for free on Instagram.
Right.
If you have a business, you want people to buy your service. So how to learn how to do that? And then having a strategy around visibility and sales that you trust, so that you don't wake up every day and be like, I wonder what I should do for my business today. We have a roadmap. There's a roadmap. So I give my people a roadmap. You're here, you want to get to the viewpoint on the top of the mountain where you make minimum 5K months, for example, if that's what they want, right? With your gifts, without watering down who you are, right? Okay, so these are the outposts that we're going to go through. Then we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe you meet an owl, in the forest, or maybe you need a little bit longer time here, or maybe you're going to see the stars. Maybe it was cloudy, who knows? So we can't plan every single thing, right? The feminine is movement, is flow, it's trust, it's faith. When you're all up in your head, you're not in your business.
Right.
But when you have a roadmap that you trust, it's so much easier to be in faith and in trust. Just trying to wing it, like I'm free, I'm in flow, and not having a strategy that you trust is actually harder. So that's what I help people with, right? To find this balance so that you can rest more easily. So you also know, I've done what I need to do today. Now my job is to feel really freaking good so that I magnetize through what I've already done.
Right. And so when your clients hit those outpost areas, right? And those challenges, give us some examples of how do you help them see their limitations when they're going through those challenges? How do you, I guess, maybe provide some of the services maybe that you provide for them in helping them through those types of challenges?
I either create programs that are for a specific outcome. I don't have one in like going live right now. But
Yeah.
the main services that I have is either one-on-one coaching or a mastermind with a small group of women. Actually, there's a guy in there as well. He's amazing.
Oh, I
Where
love that.
you're in that group for 6 months. So you get support,
Okay.
right, to get all of these more strategic pieces down. And then there's this continuous support with how's it going with this? How are you feeling with that? Like co-creating and mapping as we move on the journey towards our goals. This is also, here's a life hack that I found for the feminines. If you freak out with goals, like here's my goal, and you're like, oh, because most of us have manifested and not reached what we wanted, to be honest, right? So we can feel this like aversion towards setting a goal, because we're afraid we're not going to get it, and we're like, it feels harsh, and yeah, all the things I've heard from clients. Use the word desired outcome instead. When you move towards your desired outcome, and it has a totally different, it's like devotion instead of discipline, desired outcome instead of goal. Things come up, right? It's going to be your self-doubt. It's going to be no one has responded, and it's like being able to hold your vision and hold your energy when you are selling, for example, or being able to reach out to me and get support before you're going into a sales conversation with a potential client, right? And being able to have that community as well is very, very, very helpful, of other rising entrepreneurs who are on the same path, because most of us don't have that support necessarily, maybe in our direct family. And there can be a lot of people in our family or like old friend circle that gets triggered by our choice to live our mission. And they want to be like, this is not possible. Are you sure you're going to do this? How are you going to make money? And it's like, that doesn't work. When you're growing an organic business, like you are the service, you are yourself for a living, basically. That's also the codependence piece, like that it needs to be weeded out, because when we are growing a business organically, you cannot have toxic relationships in your life. All of our relationship needs to be a win-win. So of course there are different like fears, challenges, limitations that comes up. But being able to plug into continuous coaching and support to move through those with love, but also with like, I'm holding you to your vision. I'm holding you to your greatness, because coaching isn't like, oh, I see, this is challenging, right? It has a means to an end, which you have a desired outcome. And I know, and I believe in you. I know you can get there. So when things come up, with love, with compassion, with respect, obviously, and with like empathy, we hold it, but it's like, let's move through. I see you in your greatness. I'm not going to buy into victim consciousness where you blame you not having results based on other people. It's all you. So that's why we need to love ourselves enough, right? To actually be able to take full and utter self-responsibility. Yes. And obviously, there are pieces that comes up on the path towards the goals, the desired outcomes, where you don't know. If you don't know how to create visibility, if you don't know how to sell, of course, it's a skill set to be learned, and you need to ask in the process to learn. So I help people with that, right?
Right. And I love that you do like did we lose connection again? Linda's out in the jungle. Oh, there we go. You're out in the jungle.
I'm in the jungle. Yeah, the connection.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So I love that you're doing this whole group and creating the community and giving support to your clients in that way. I love everything that you're talking about. I think it's really important for sacred women out there to hear that this is a possibility to follow their purpose, to follow that niggling feeling inside that they've got more to offer the world. So we're already halfway through. So we're going to take a quick break. I love the conversation, girl. This is amazing. A lot of ding dings going off in my head over here. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back in a few moments with Linda Jacobsen, who is an amazing entrepreneur, empowering the rise of feminine power in their soul business. We're going to just take a few minutes of break, and we'll be right back, guys, for the next half of our show. Take care. Hey, guys.
In this break, I'm going to just leverage Linda with the two offers that she has available for you guys. If you've been really looking for a coach who's going to help you create a business that feels like an extension of your soul, that's going to create real financial stability and get you 5K plus months, if you are pulled to Linda, I highly suggest taking a look at this offer. Prices are going up in 2023, and so she has her Venus Vortex for solopreneurs, and it's going to be something that helps you with all the healing that you need to do, moving through, getting those clients and building the business that aligns to your heart and soul. So try a call with her and check that out. And she also has, for a limited offer till the end of December, the Soul Success session to help you gain the clarity that you need. It's a 90-minute session. So she's got some great offers. The links are down below. So please go ahead and check those out. And of course, if you want to work with me, all my info is down below. I am still open for coaching and readings. So if you guys are enjoying the content that I bring forward in the podcast, take a look at some of the past shows, or if you have a story to tell and you have an awakening story, or something about your business or things and how you're changing the world, a movement that you're starting, whatever it is, we want people like you who are changing and shifting consciousness on the planet, that we're helping to bring the support systems in place to help those awaken and come into a true alignment of their soul. So if that is of interest of you, you can apply on the website at thegreatbreakpodcast.com. And yeah, if you're pulled to working with me and doing a session with me, my website is rinawells.com. And yeah, let's just get back to the show, guys. This is a great conversation, and I don't want to miss any more. Let's get back to it.
Welcome back, guys, to the Great Break Podcast. I'm Rena Wells, your host, and we are here today talking to Linda Jacobsen, who is an astrologist, but most importantly, she's also an entrepreneur, empowering the rise of feminine purposes and business. We're having amazing conversation about challenges with sacred feminine energies, running your mission, doing your business, the challenges that we're seeing. And we're going to get into some juicy stuff now. Let's get into the meat of this. And during the break, I was mentioning to Linda about, when I first started mine, for instance, I was a tarot reader and whatnot, but now it's morphing more into like this podcast, and there's other community aspects that I'm building for rainforest support and whatnot in South America. So tell me, Linda, let's get into this a little bit more about, the clients that come in, and they may start off as like an astrologist. They start off as a tarot reader, but then, what they may have had a vision of what it was and how it's morphing into something completely different. How that navigating that journey alone, I know for myself, that was super challenging, because I'm like, well, I'm making the money. I'm making the money with my tarot. I'm doing it. But, and so moving into that kind of change where it's like, okay, how do we break that ceiling, right? That mindset. What are those challenges that you're seeing with your clients who may have had a certain vision and it's changing into something entirely different?
Yes. So, I mean, this comes back to spiritual empowerment for me, where I help my people remember why they're here, who we all are, which is a soul on a mission, right? And coming back to the trust and the decision of, what am I actually available for in this lifetime, for example? And these are all like mindset shifts, and that we can do like energetic work, like EFT tapping to actually move things through, or like there are different, like, or just somatic, shaking and things to actually move things out of the system. But basically like the mindset shifts of remembering what is actually important to them, because our ego mind is so sneaky, right? So we start with one thing and now like, I know this, I've got this, I want to hold on to this. And then your intuition, your own God self within is like, it's time for the next step. And when there can be a tendency to want to resist because we're afraid of the unknown, yet that's where the expansion lies, to support people to remember, like, what are your values? Why are you here?
Right.
What are you, if you would die soon, like being a little morbid like that, but that's the reality, right?
Yeah, that's the reality.
What would you regret? Would you regret doing the things or not doing the things? No, I want to do the things. Okay, so let's talk about what are the fears how can you hold yourself emotionally through this leap and do the thing? And then once there is a decision and an intention on their side, right, I am going to launch this new service. Okay, now we can strategize. Now we can use the strategies to actually make a roadmap, a plan for you how to actualize this. But you need to be plugged in energetically. And this is the importance of trusting, like coming back to self-leadership, self-trust, self-worth, of really feeling that like God spark within, right? And that this is my purpose, to birth this, to live, to create, to receive, to serve at my highest. Yeah. And also that's the money piece. Like I love to teach and talk about the metaphysics of money, because everything comes from source. Like God is our supply, not money. Yeah. So how to trust that, like that when we are in our essence, like the money will come from expected or unexpected sources. Exactly. So to do like there are different pieces of this, like that the work that we do, so that we can take the leap. Yes. Because
and it reminds me
bigger things are coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And it reminds me, Linda, just as you're speaking, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the whole birthing process, like when they're saying birthing, we're birthing, that's that feminine aspect. And I know you had natural birth as well, right?
Oh
so
my God,
I mean, and so there's that pressure. Yeah. It's funny. I was talking to my daughter this morning about when I had to birth. I nearly had her in the toilet because I felt so much pressure. I thought I had to go to the bathroom. So that pressure of birthing, with your feminine clients.
Exactly. And they know it. And it's about trusting, it's like, so I was just writing a post about this morning, actually, because
of course you were.
Exactly. Both of my kids are born at home. And I wrote about this, like, nobody can birth for you, but we're not meant to do this alone, because I would have freaked out and I would have ended up with intervention at the hospital. Assured. And if that happens, like, this is not me judging like where you choose to birth or anything like that. It's just like when we actually take a decision and we go for it, like there's a lot of pressure, but having someone who can hold our hand, not telling us what to do, but who's walked the path before us, and that can like, hey, you got this. Remember, like, this is why you came here. Like, this is your lifetime to rise. What do you need? Where are you at? What are those doubts? Let's move through. What do you like, how can you hold this? What do you actually prioritize? And it's like, actually prioritize my emotional, like, expansion and well-being more than having, a certain amount of money. Okay. Well, then you get to choose that. And I'm, support you to make those moves. And then of course the money always comes. Money follows passion and joy and bliss.
It does.
Not the other way around.
It does completely. And I love that. So you're reminding, you're like a doula, with the support for the ones that are birthing,
Exactly. That's what I wrote today. I'm like, actually, this ties back into, business. Me as a business coach today, I see myself as a midwife for my clients who are birthing next level creations. Right?
Totally.
So there's another piece to this. I just want to say, we need to trust the first step, because we always just like everyone, in life, because of our ego mind and our conditioning, we always want to see how everything's going to pan out, and we want to plan and control. It doesn't happen that way. Life it's not like that. The magic, the miracles, they don't exist on that frequency, right? So choosing to take the first step, either it's like, I'm going to start my business and I'm going to trust that this service that I want to put out is what I need to put out. Like I opened up a shop, for example, in Tulum town. And then I closed it like after 5 months and took my whole business online. That could have seemed like a really weird like investment to do. Right. But because I did that, I got into contact with so many people through that short time that actually still produces clients for me today. So like trusting the steps that are laid out for you is going to lead you to the next step and the next step and the next step. So if that next step is starting and putting out one service, do that instead of thinking about all the things that you could do. Because even if you have triplets, you birth one baby at a time. So,
yes.
Right? Because that's the other piece. Where we're like, I'm not multi-passionate, I'm multi-talented, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then we get caught up maybe in like the overthinking. Right. Action leads to clarity. So clarity, I think, is of course related to the feminine as well, and the like making choices. Like the empowered feminine makes choices, no problem. It's a disempowered feminine that's like, I don't know what to do. So
Right.
like making choices is not necessarily just a masculine quality, but sometimes, you know, when we are a feminine essence, we want to like feel and, you know, before we take action. And what I've seen to be very important on this path of mission and of entrepreneurship is the capacity to take action, because that's what will lead to more clarity. So that requires us to redefine what failure is, which is just a fucking concept. It's not a real thing. Like failure doesn't exist, objectively speaking. It's like your
competition as well. In competition. Yeah.
Exactly. So all of these things ties in, but really like trusting, coming back to that trust that fuels your capacity to take action. And to trust that whatever comes from that action will lead you to more clarity in the next step.
I found that to be the most difficult too. And I think I love that we're talking about this with the feminine energy of like, you know, we want to be this like, oh, that intuitive and being all up here for sure. And our choices do count, right? And I think we've been told as women that they don't. And our choices are very strong because, you know, when we're birthing, for instance, in labor, you know, we get to choose our position. You know, you get to choose if you want to birth on your knees or on your back or however else, you know. And so bringing that in and how you're allowing your clients to find those challenges within themselves, right? How do you see the women in your collective or women in the Sacred Feminine Collective moving in regards to once they overcome those challenges, once they're past that pressure point? What kind of changes do you see in them? What are they birthed? What is it that's coming out of your collective?
Yeah, I see a lot of amazing different types of services, right? Everything from like astrology, coaching programs that helps people reclaim power and leadership. And like, I've also seen the shift from when you actually trust yourself and you use the strategies to do things your way, how you can go from being in a dry spell of not signing clients potentially to getting like 6-7 people in a group program, like
right.
Yeah. So see that happens all the time. And others are like relationship coaches for parents of teenagers to actually like harmonize, and that can sound like, oh, relationship coach for teenage parents, and that's the future. Like that is the future, you know, our kids, and like how to actually learn how to harmonize the home so that those teenagers don't leave their home with resistance and or like you know, rejection with their parents, and not having the skill set to actually do, you know, repair in relationships or how to communicate and things like that. There's different like breath work programs that helps people to, you know, revolutionize their health and their vitality and their capacity to actually feel trust in their body based on how they're breathing. What else? There's so many amazing things birthed, and human design for business, and support for parents who are co-parenting with, you know, high conflict people, self-mastery and transformation, the people teaching the metaphysics of money to others. Like, there's just a myriad. I'm like, there's so much, and it's not going to be that. That's just like out of the top of my head right now. Some people who are in my programs and so are doing, it's like there's more. And it's also like from single to soulmate, how to actually call in soulmate love, like how to actually do the work to call in your soulmate, not like the fake way.
Something like where, right, in an empowered way.
So good.
This is amazing because you're bringing so much of how our world is really changing, right? This is how business and all. Let's talk about that, how it's really changing and how people are really moving the collective into a new earth.
I see like coaching as one of the things that is, you know, and people can have a little bit of a different definition of coaching, but like transformational services, transformational coaching is one of the things that are going to help people to do the journey of actually being able to step into the new paradigm. Evolution is never going to stop. So if you go into the
Exactly.
business of transformational coaching, you are not going to be out of work for any, like, it's not, there is a misconception that the market is like done. The market is noisy, but it is not saturated. That's why you need to learn some strategy, and you need to learn like how to release your own voice, because that's the magic that always works. When you have certain essential strategies down so that you can make it your own, and then you do the inner work of coming alive online, right? Of unleashing your own voice, of trusting your own magic, of going all the way in, of saying, I'm here for this. This is my mission. I am not backing down. I throw away the keys to the back door. I don't care if I have to take a side hustle for a while to keep myself afloat economically. I don't care what I need to do. Like, this is why I came here. There's something unwavering about that frequency that life will respond to, and you are going to create something magnificent. And you, if you're listening to this and you feel it, you know it. So like, let's go, you know? And we need this
so
because
true.
you're birthing a new paradigm. Your service, like your gifts are they're needed. Everyone's success is needed in this world.
Yes.
And we are not going to go out of work. This is just the beginning. And I also believe that we need more heart-centered, sensitive souls in the arena of self-development, because there is a shady side to the coaching business, just like anything in this polarized reality. Where people are being very manipulative and maybe overcharging, under delivering, but that's not you. Like, if someone feels like an aversion to that, like, you are the people who should sell more. You are the type of people who should actually offer something and do it differently, right? I'm so passionate about this because I believe that in the new paradigm, we all get to be ourselves for a living. So one of the things that I want to do and really contribute with, as it feels right now, because my mission might change and evolve more as well, is to support in that piece, that we can unplug from the lack and scarcity matrix, and from the matrix in general. You get to become your own source of abundance and be yourself for a living. And there are some hoops and hurdles to jump through in order to get there, right? And that's what I love to support people with. It's really a journey of coming home.
Well, I love when you're talking about the, you know, it's like the focus, like if you're looking at the coaching business and you're looking at the dark side of it, right? And your focus is that, obviously, and as women, you're going to soak that up and it's going to cause that hindrance. But I love in how you're motivated. I love the fire in you, like, honestly, and how you're like saying, you know, like, we're supposed to be creating this, and this is, you know, I'm not going to back down from what I know of my truth, of what I'm going to be doing. And so changing that focus to that piece, right? That business, and how the earth is as a collective, how we're changing, how we can all work for ourselves, how we can all, it's like helping each other. It's like a network that's happening as you're talking.
This
That's
is
what I'm seeing. It's like this network.
Because it's like, it's a network of not just divine feminines, right? But that's what I have most present in my reality. We are like creating a network of, or an economy together. We're purchasing each other's services. We're empowering each other. We're spreading each other's work. We're like, because the humans who decide to rise together is going to rise at quantum speed. And one of the things with the feminine is that we are connected to the energy of connection, community, sisterhood. We are not competitive. We are not, so like, also helping my people, right, to detoxify from any of these, like, and myself continuously, right, from these old paradigm marketing myths, for example, like, this is how you become better than your competitor. I'm like, what the fucking language is that?
Right? Yes.
You know? And
I agree.
like, and then not falling into the other spectrum either, because of course you're going to have to develop your skill set, but not because you need to be better than your competitors, because you need to be the best version of you. Period. You know? So it's just a revolution happened on the planet, and I find it to be so fascinating. And also when, you know, when we step into soulful business, we also have that opportunity, right? Which is so amazing, to become our own source of abundance. And then all of our money wounds gets hit. All of our attachment wounds in selling is gonna get poked. Oh no, they rejected me. I'm not we're like, or if we're like an avoidant attachment style, I don't care. I don't need any clients. I don't want to use them.
Yeah.
You know? So, oh my goodness. That's why I love it, because it's a spiritual growth journey on steroids. Like we came here to rise.
Yes,
And
we definitely did.
So when you step into soul-led business, all of the blind spots and limitations, and so they're going to get highlighted. So it's like, buckle up, but this is what we came for, right? So we can actually liberate it. Because I think also, Rena, and let me know if you agree, but I would imagine that this lifetime is also a lifetime where we are clearing different types of imprints and limitations from so many past lifetimes.
I agree
so that
completely.
Things can be very, very extreme at times, and that's not because you are regressing. It's actually because you're clearing so much in this lifetime. So really seeing that, and that's also the power of community and having a coach or a mentor, or just having support, so that we don't forget.
Yeah. Completely.
Right.
I think that's what you've hit that on the nail, like the nail on the head right there, because these changes are very drastic. They can be very drastic. I've noticed that I had to keep my vibration so pure, right? In the sense of when I was going through these deep transitions, because you become vulnerable to a certain, to old patterns with when you're trying to move out of it, right?
Yeah.
And so when you think and you see, and I'm sure you see this with your clients, it's like, well, my whole life is falling apart now. Like my husband's gone now, my boyfriend ended that. Now, my kids are taken away and I have to go live with this person and now everything's falling. How is this a good thing, Linda? Tell me. How is this a
you know what? But that's where we tap back into the truth of reality. And we all know truth when we hear it. Quantum leaps comes with quantum crumbles. The things that cannot go with you to your next level are going to be removed. Don't pretend that you don't know this. You know what I mean? And this
Shivers,
is like also when we can have people in our life that reminds us with love, like, you set this intention, you're going to that top. You can't carry that heavy bag. It's going to take you forever.
Exactly.
This is being removed for a reason. Trust, faith, because like the metaphysics is the key to everything, right? Like learning how things actually are created in the energetics.
Yeah.
So
the laws of the universe, for instance, is that where you're right?
So the laws of the universe, that your intention, cause and effect, your intention, like where your mindset is at, where your belief are going to create your reality, right? And also understanding how reality is created. So for example, if you set your GPS to, I want, to launch this service, I want a certain amount of clients, or want a certain income, like the GPS is set. When you put the GPS and you're going to go to the store, you don't stop every 5 minutes and ask, like, are we there yet?
Right.
So this is where strategy helps, because when you actually have a roadmap to get there, you're going to trust more that you're going to get there.
Right. And I think those challenges too are the outposts too, because as you're saying that, like, and I noticed this in my own journey, it's like, okay, so I set the intention and I'm going to do this. And now it's like, but why is my soul driving me away? It feels like I'm going in the complete opposite direction over here, right? When it's like, but I had a vision going over here.
Yes. So it's about trusting and discerning, but like truth and faith is always needed, like to know and to come back to this knowingness. I am going to get to my destination. Right. So I get to trust the journey there. Like if you really knew that you would get there, you would enjoy the journey, but we doubt so much. I mean, I do too. As I said, I'm the queen of self-doubt, So this is not sitting on a high horse. Like this is speaking from a place of deep knowing of how scary and rocky this journey can be, and also knowing what's on the other side of it, and the value of holding your intention, because you'll get there. Because when all of your energy is going in one place, and that's why you can't be having too many distractions and toxic relationships and stuff. Like when you have all your energy going in one place, of course you're going to end up there. If you turn right 10 times, you're not going to go left. Like it's that's not going to happen. So like to do the things and actually do the inner work to hold our intention, we will get to our destination. So
That's a
we stop.
devotion piece you talked
It's
about,
the
right?
devotion
That,
piece.
yeah,
So even
yeah,
when I don't know how it's going to happen, I trust that I'm going there. Even when I don't
yeah.
see how it's going to turn out or how my money is going to come in that I desire so much, I devote myself to this path, because what else would I be doing with my time? Seriously.
Right.
You
Right.
know, like,
It's true.
right?
Dealing with all that other stuff that you don't want to be focusing on, right? Or what you want to
Exactly.
be
So just
focused on. Exactly.
like getting real with oneself, and we stop the process and the progress from where we are to where we want to go when we break intention, right? When we are breaking our intention, or when we are setting unrealistic goals, and then we're like, what's my goal? Because the universe it doesn't operate on time, really.
No,
It doesn't work that way. So, this is also something that I see has happened with me, has happened with many clients. So then we can move through this with love. We're going to become so much more powerful. But when we're like, I want a 10K month, I want a 5K month, I want a certain amount of clients, and then that doesn't happen, and we're like, where's my goal? Like, and we start to like demand, just like a kid. This is when we're operating out of the wounded child on the universe, that like we make that mean that we're not going to get it, that it's unfair, and we start to pull on these like pretty immature dynamics within ourselves, so that we can see them and mature, obviously. So we don't, like, shaming ourselves is canceled, right? We don't shame ourselves. That's never a good idea. We don't do that. But like, we get to see this and like, oh yeah, I'm really being quite immature here. I'm putting a goal that I should have this in this amount of time, and if it's not happening, then it's not going to happen for me, and like it's unfair. And
that's self-doubt. That's self-doubt again.
Right? So like, really, we break the power of the momentum that we're building, and this like unwavering knowingness that we will reach our goal when we break intention, like when we waver in our intention. I want this, no, I don't want it, I don't know, like we decide and then fucking go, right?
Right.
And when we set unrealistic goals, and then we make ourselves wrong, or the universe wrong for not delivering them on time,
right,
and also not following through with the process.
Yeah.
So we set an unrealistic goal, and then we're like, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's like when my child is like, if I don't get what I want, I'm going to break my toy. And I'm like, well,
go ahead. What are you going to do?
Right?
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And it's like, I have found in my own journey too, it's like I almost had to throw these little temper tantrums just to get it out of my system. You know what I mean? Just to get it out, but not to like be in it. And I think that's where the shift starts to happen.
That's the value of coaching and mentorship, right? And having community, because you can go throw a fit, do it properly, then I'm going to check in with you. Right? Because it's very different to throw a fit for 2 hours than throw a fit for 2 months.
Right. Exactly. And then
so this is not about bypassing emotions. Yeah, we need to feel our emotions, because our emotions are to be felt, they're not to be fixed. Yeah. So also feminine capacity that we are expanding in, like of being able to feel, when we can feel, because most people, we are afraid of feeling disappointment, despair, and these like uncomfortable emotions. So that's why we hold back. I'm not going to sell this, or I'm not going to launch this, or I'm going to like pull the plug on what I'm doing because it seems like it's not working. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to feel so disappointed. So I'm going to pull back. And then we feel disappointed with ourselves. So like, how to actually be able to follow through all the way with our process and being like, I don't care if I have results or not. I'm committed to the journey, not the outcome. This is when our energy and the strategy, like, it's really plugged in, and the strategy starts to like amplify you.
I love that. You're committed to the journey, not the outcome, because we've been conditioned in this lack mentality. And I noticed this even when I worked in government and business. It's like you're always striving for the solution, the best return on investment, the best, very, very. And it's not that that's bad. I think you can definitely have an outcome of what you want, like you're saying, but that journey piece and allowing that unfolding and enjoying.
It's not bad. It's just unbalanced.
Right.
When we are only unbalanced because it's overly masculine. Because life is cyclical. Life is an ever-folding unfoldment. Like in business, we don't say, I have succeeded. But we do, like before we detoxify from this and we become aware. I have succeeded. I have won. I have, or I have failed. We don't say I have risen. no, it's like I am creating, I am succeeding, I am rising, I am becoming, I am unfolding. This is the feminine
Right.
piece that when we are
Right.
connected to this energy, we're going to become unstoppable. Because if you are always rising, there is no beginning and end to your journey of life and
Right.
business. So of course you're going to start build so much momentum, and you are committed to that journey and your own becoming and your own self-expression, right? And there's something that's very, very magnetic to that, but it's not like you're like, how much can I be so that I get this? You can't be to get, you be because you are.
Right. And when
And this
you
is
are,
tricky. Sometimes we're like, oh, can I
yeah.
just be here and I'm going to get my goodies, you know?
Right. Right. Because I found like when you're more enjoying yourself with the unfolding of the journey and just being in that space, it's almost like the manifestation happens and you're like, oh, that's because I was already there. I was
Because
already
you
present
are,
in that vibration. I was
exactly, you are an energetic match.
being in that. Exactly. So I
So
love,
totally.
yeah. Yeah. I love that you brought that up. Yeah, let's talk more about, um, let me see. I'm just looking at the notes here and I want to talk more about how you see your business expanding because I'm looking at the time and we've got about like 15 minutes left. So let's talk about the expansion of your business. Let's talk about like where it started because I know you started with the astrology piece or we talked about that, but like where you're at now and where do you see it expanding? Let's go into that.
So I started with the astrology and then I moved into coaching and holding people through different transformations over time, because that's the thing, right? And that's also why I support people with creating transformational programs for self-mastery, for relationship, for health, whatever it is, because transformation takes time. You're not going to get what your soul is actually craving in one session if it isn't just clarity on a certain specific topic. But if you actually, and also like we don't need more information today, we need support with integration. Because if all you needed like was information, go Google and you're good. Like, but that isn't enough, right? So it grew into that, and then from there, like more as I saw the challenges for myself, like with the fears around charging, and then like rejecting strategy, and then moving into learning strategies that actually are soulful and service based, and how much it helped me. I wanted to support others with that. To then up the capacity to receive and like the money piece and all these things moved more towards business coaching, which I'm doing today. So what I see is expanding from here, what's on my heart. Now I've had my kids full time for 6 months, and their dad is going to be back here in the area pretty soon. And I look forward to look at the community aspect of my business. And I don't love Facebook, so I'm looking at another platform, or maybe Telegram. Might be getting ahead of myself, even sharing it, I don't know. But so I want to create like more community. But I see myself launching some programs as well, more focused on certain specifics within the business growth journey, such as creating messaging, content and messaging that is in alignment with your energetic design, and understanding the codes that helps people take action towards working with you, being self-expressed. So because this is what I see happens a lot, like we're either like selling based on someone else's template, and it's like doesn't really work because we're like just trying to do what someone else did, or we're just like sharing from our heart, and people aren't, they're like, they're just saying you're so inspirational, they don't really take action to buy. So how to merge these two in a way that feels good. Also want to do another program around metaphysics of money, just that whole topic of how to create, how to feel like you're your own source of abundance, and the metaphysics of how to create and generate prosperity, the prosperity consciousness, which is so much more than money, really, to defy the lack matrix. Because it's one thing that I've seen, the lack matrix and the not enoughness, like the scarcity, it's one of the viruses on this planet that holds us in so much fear and control that I'm like, oh my goodness, we need to talk about this. And I just see Venus rising, like growing and expanding, and might potentially come, other programs and courses out of that. And I just see myself going to the moon and back with this and taking everyone with me, like rise
several times.
several times, you know. So we'll see. That's like what's on the top of my head right now, but I'm sure there's going to be creations that I'm not even aware of in this moment.
Right.
It's all about the support of sovereignty, self-sufficiency, and living the life that you came here to live, right? Unleashing yourself and your gifts and creating freedom, ultimately.
And I love the community piece, because I know, like, with my mission, like that's a huge factor of community, and I love that you're building that, especially with the sacred feminines. And so, do you see in the communities that you're building? I know you say you have a masculine now working with you. Yeah, I love that. Do you see it changing in that way, more with maybe more men, or you know?
I'm not sure. Like, I was a bit surprised, but like positively surprised, because as I speak and as I market, it's towards women who wants to rise in business, and be themselves for a living, right? And create money with their soul gifts. But of course, if there's a man that is responding to that type of messaging, I'm not close to that, right? As I invite people into my containers to work with me, it's more about who you are rather than your gender. And if it's a fit for the container, right? Both me knowing that I can actually really, I'm 100% confident that I can help you with your desires of the results you want to create. And also the person being a fit for the group, so to say. But I do have, and that's the community aspect is really, really important. Like, I am mainly on Instagram. That's where I built everything. I don't even have a website. Like, you don't need a website today. It's amazing to have. I know it's great to have, but it's not even needed.
It's not the end all. It's not the end all.
Yeah. So, and the services I offer at this moment right now is one-on-one coaching for people who really wants to go all in and get like that customized support 100% to amplify themselves and to grow their businesses. And a mastermind. So the mastermind is a group container, right? Where there's this like a small community of rising entrepreneurs, where you get both some one-on-one support and then group community coaching and access to all my other programs. So I've seen that to be really, really juicy, right? We do thrive in company with others.
Do you meet like a weekly basis for your groups, or do they meet monthly, or?
Yeah, my groups, we meet weekly. Weekly live coaching calls, and I do sometimes teachings and trainings, and sometimes just open coaching. Monthly one-on-one call, and then daily access through a messaging app to me. Because one of the things that I've seen as well, when I don't want someone who's in a more intimate container with me. I'd never want anyone to wait until the next call for feedback.
Right.
So something that's really cool with these containers as well, it's not just to get coaching and feedback on things that might be challenging. It's also a place to celebrate and to be seen in your celebration. So this is also part of bringing like the Venus vibes back. That is like one of my main like mindset shifts. Like this spring, I had my highest sales month so far was 16K in sales, and it was like
amazing.
Yeah, because I've been a full-time entrepreneur for over 3 years, sustaining myself through my business. But that's like the highest month I've had so far. I'm sure it's going to be more very soon, but
for sure.
And something that I said to myself that whole month, I was so deep in like prosperity consciousness and service. And of course I was doing, you can't just be, you need to do the things.
You have to do.
But one of the mindset shifts that I was consistently doing, like when I started to feel, like contraction within me, either like, oh, I'm so tired, or am I enough, or who am I to do this? Like any type of doubt. I was like, how can this be more delicious? That was my go-to phrase. How can this be more delicious? And then it's usually just remembering, oh, I'm safe. I'm held in the arms by source. So it's all good. Like, or whatever it was, or like, go eat something, go have a kombucha. Okay, that would be delicious, or like just put on a song and dance. So that vibe of coming back to celebration and what is most delicious is so powerful, because we're always in between manifestations, right? We're always in between something that we have accomplished and created, and something that we are desiring, like one foot in gratitude, one foot in desire, right? So we are always calling in more, and in that space, as to not get caught up in, is it going to come? Why isn't it here yet? You know, where are the clients? Where's my money? Is it going to work? When we focus on celebrating, it's like we're like all the small things, right? I took a nap today, or like someone reached out to me, or I signed a client. Like maybe you want to make 10K, but like you signed one client and you made 3K, whatever, right?
Right.
And instead of like, oh, but I'm not there yet. It's like, celebrate that, because when we do that, it's like, notice that there's this clear signal going into the field, right? Into the quantum field, saying yes and more, please. Yes and more, please. So the more we celebrate, the more it's like, yes and more, please. Yes and more, please. We're going to call in more, and we're going to be able to hold more. So celebration, and that's really vulnerable, Rena.
Yeah,
because
it is.
You know, when you share your story online, like from rise to riches, I'm like, you're struggling, people are going to be empathizing with you. And so, but if you're just celebrating or bragging, like, I have this amazing thing going on, does she think she is?
Oh yeah, so completely. But it's also that whole aspect, because I have found that in myself too. The more that I focus on me, right, that self-love piece, right, and like what you're saying, and like loving and being, I love, what did you say, the 1 foot in devotion, 1 foot in gratitude, or
one foot in gratitude, 1 foot in desire. Like
desire.
You know, gratitude for what is, desire for more. I'm so grateful for what is, I desire more. Right?
Yes. And so feeling that, you can feel it. You can feel it. Totally. And so I've noticed that in my life. And like you're saying, when you hold that energy, and as women, when we hold that, you do get those like, oh, who is that? It's because we create that, what is that saying? I use this a lot. It's, when the sun shines unapologetically. Right?
Yeah.
So
it's
those that
radiance.
can't, right. So those that can't handle the sun, they got to go find some shade. So let them find their shade, you know?
Totally.
So I love that you're helping the collective this way, and you're helping shift the world and their perspective out of this lack mentality and this network that you're starting to create. We've got a few more minutes here. So let's take a look at, you know, your hopes for how you're going to contribute more to the world shifting, and also anything that you would like to leave, you know, some words of advice for people out there listening about, you know, maybe where they're stuck or they're struggling, or, you know, changing that focus from the lack mindset, that you know, that they may want to reach out to you or whatnot, and what you can provide for them.
Yes. So I'm really content with what I'm doing right now. I see my main focus right now in supporting others to be themselves for a living, right? Really bringing in authentic business, having a business that feels like home, that unshackles you from shame, right? Breaking the patterns of the past, that allows you to be you, where you feel enough, and you also become a permission slip for the world and for your clients to be who they are, right? And like it's a business that feels like an extension of your soul, and it generates money for you, right? So to have these two pieces in place, so that you can become your own source of abundance and share your gifts with the world. Like this is like more and more for everyone. It's a win-win. So I really love that right now. I'm sure I'm going to expand in other ways as well, but that's my main focus. And if someone wants to reach out, they're so welcome. They can find me mainly on Instagram. And I do, as I said, offer one-on-one coaching. I have a few spots for that. And I have a mastermind. That's a 6-month commitment when you join my group. It's a really juicy price. Like it's my prices are, in my opinion, still placed at a place or at a rate where might be a stretch for some, but I think they're very reasonable. So
well, it's an investment in self, right? It's an investment in yourself and your transformation. And you've done it, girl. You're a single mom here doing this kind of work.
Yeah.
and the changes, and we haven't talked in a while. Like, we haven't touched base for a while. You were in Sweden, right? You were in
Yeah,
Sweden
I
for
went
a
to see
bit,
my
and then,
family
right?
finally.
Or,
Yes.
yeah, and
Mhm.
then there was changes happening in me and all this. So like having this reconnection with you today is absolutely amazing, because
Mhm.
it's a whole different vibration that's going on, that you're birthing in this place. So
It's so
I
exciting.
yeah, I want people to reach out to you, because you don't just preach. You're doing what you teach. You're actually living it and
Totally. I'm living
cultivating
it.
it
I'm a
and doing
full-time
it.
entrepreneur since over 3 years as a single mom with no other income.
Right.
And yeah, I do practice what I preach. I'm a hot, messy human. I'm going to hold you to your highest and allow you to be a hot, messy human making money with your gifts. I also do offer astrology sessions still. So if someone wants
Oh, do you?
to gain, more clarity and empowerment on their soul's evolutionary path, to understand where they're coming from and where they're going on their soul's journey, and also look into gifts and leadership style and things like that, and obviously ask any questions, I still offer a limited amount of sessions every month. And what I want to leave people with, because you asked that, is
Mhm.
really this realization, or like take some time and land in your heart and see what is really there and what matters most to you, and then freaking go for it. Like, this is a lifetime to rise. There is going to be fears. That's all good. There's a difference between fear and misalignment, I've come to notice.
Mhm.
Your fear is the compass to your next level. So if you're afraid of putting yourself out there, of hiring a coach, good. It means there's something there for you. If you don't trust me, you don't need to hire me. You can go hire someone else, right? But
Mhm.
really seeing that fear is something that's going to accompany you on this path. And this is a path for the brave people, right?
Mhm.
Bravery is walking with fear. It's not
Definitely.
waiting for it to dissipate and then do the thing. So invest your time, your energy, and your money in your mission, in what it is that you desire. Back yourself. Set that intention and then go for it. You're going to get there. Like, don't deviate from your path, right? Because time doesn't come back. Like, in this reality where time is an illusion, but it's very real in this experience, money is a renewable resource, and you are your
Definitely.
safest asset. Like, when we invest in ourselves, be it for empowerment coaching or whatever it is we want to achieve, or in ourselves and our business, because of course I do business coaching, but I coach the whole human, because you rise as a whole human and your business will reflect that, right?
Exactly.
Like, we
Yeah.
raise our consciousness, we become more aware. That is the best investment we can do. Time
It,
is not a renewable resource on this planet. Most people want to spend time to save money. That is a stupid way of looking at things.
right? I always thought that. I'm so glad you brought that up. It's
Yeah,
so
no, and
true.
I've thought that way too. And I just joined another mastermind myself, and it was a little stretchy, and I'm like, I'm doing, but so this is not like, invest at the level that you can. If that is like $100 masterclass, like, do it. Like, it doesn't have to be a several $1,000s investment if you don't have that available, but really see that investing in your desires is going to get you to where you want to go. So don't wait. Don't wait.
Right. And that
That
would
would be
open you
my
up
thing.
too. I have found when I put that money in investment in myself, all of a sudden more money came in to
Totally.
sign up for something more, or to
Mhm.
invest more into myself. So I mean, you just got to
Exactly.
take that first, hurdle of fear,
Yeah.
and be like, I need to just put that into myself. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
definitely, like, going for it and stop waiting.
Definitely.
And
Definitely,
people can
Linda.
reach out to me. I do offer a couple of free calls right now as well. Someone who wants like a
Oh,
business
amazing.
audit and activation, which is where I go through my roadmap, which I call 5K the Venus way, of where you're at with your
I love
offers.
that.
Yeah.
Love that. That's
With your
amazing.
offers, your messaging, your visibility and sales strategy, and of course mindset and energy, because that's what makes everything work. And
Mm.
it's with the intention to look if we're at a fit, to work together, invite you into ways of working together, but it's never any obligation to join anything. So if you're hearing this and, I'm still doing it because maybe someone will come across this in a while, but like reach out and check, because that is something that could leave you with money generating steps ASAP.
Right.
It's a free call. So I have several things. So just,
Amazing, Linda. Amazing. And I have all of Linda's links down below. Make sure you guys check her out. Okay. She's great at what she does. I've had a couple astrology readings for me, and they're potent. They're potent. I've had to go back and re-listen. I've even listened to it, a year later or so, down the road, that it was so valid. So thank you, Linda, for taking the time to being on the Great Break podcast. It was absolutely amazing having you, and your enthusiasm and your motivation, and bringing these types of conscious businesses to fruition, and helping, nurturing these beautiful feminine energies and birthing their missions. Thank you. It's truly, truly beautiful work that you're doing. And I encourage anyone that's looking for an amazing coach to hit Linda up. She's absolutely amazing. So thank you for being on the Great Break podcast, you guys. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow Linda and follow myself. You guys want more, and make sure you just, follow. And we're going to take this out now. So thanks, everybody.
Rena. I appreciate you so much. You are amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it too. Love. Bye, guys.